Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back. In the previous class, we have learned Unit 3C. The topic of the lesson is My Robot Robbie. I hope all who read the lesson, I already gave the homework. In this class, we are going to learn the balance part of the lesson. So, all of you take page number 62 in your textbook. Let's go. Dear students, page number 62. Before we are going to the lesson, just recall what is the topic? My Robot Robbie. So, who is Robbie? It is the name of the robot. Okay. So, who had the robot? The boy Sunni and his family. So, in the first 3 pages, the boy demanded for biscuit and milk, and he asked questions about the history of robot, and it said about Asimov's laws and who invented him and who used them as in their writing. This all shared by the robot to Sunni, and he of course helped to the mother in the kitchen. Now the balance part, page number 62. In the morning, Mummy presses another button on Robbie's back. Robbie's eyes begin to glow. Its body starts humming, and turning to Mummy, it asks, "What may I do for you, ma'am?" It is then ready to start work again. So morning, how we are wake up, the same thing. Mummy press the button, and now the robot is ready to do the work, and it asks a question, what I want to do. And Robbie can also tell the stories and sing songs. I always enjoy the stories that it tells with the spice and humor. Sometimes I also sing along with the Sunni he shared. So Robert not only do the domestic and household work, of course it can do anything, we know. So it tell the stories and of course sing the songs. He is always enjoy the stories when it's a story begin, and of course it is a humor, and he also sang with it. Robbie fascinate all my friends. They come to my home, gather around it and talk to it sometimes, then try to touch it and do some mischief. So Sunni shared his friends also came to their family. See the picture, they are his friends. I do not like this, but Robbie wisely humorous them by making some curious sound. Then they all laugh. So this like shared by Sunni. So his friends also want to talk to the robot and want to play. One day my curious friend Akhil asked, "How does Robbie live without food and water?" I had never thought of this. Why not ask Robbie itself? I said, but my mummy entered the room. Just then we asked her. So the conversation between them, the Akhil has a question. What question? What it should eat? We are eating food. So whether the robots are use or eat food or what? So this like question asked by Akhil. In the time who entered, the mother entered in the room. Mummy said, "Why don't you know? Robbie lives on electricity." She said, "It does not have any food. It only eats electricity." I was surprised. I asked, "When does it eat electricity?" So the boy asked how and when does it eat the electricity. It means the food. She replied, "When you are 8 at school and Robbie has no work to do." Akhil asked, "How does it eat electricity?" So the boys, they are very small boys. So they asked so many questions about the how it taken the food through the electricity to the mother. Now turn page number 63. Page number 63. Like any other appliance in the home, like radio or TV, Mummy replied. So why the reply given by mother? The boys, the friends of Sudhil asked a question to the mother. Robbie is fed electricity through the wire. She called Robbie. She picked a button on the back. She inserted a plug into the socket, connecting Robbie to the main electric supply. So how we are charged mobile phone? The same thing. Robot also will be charged through the electricity only. It can live. So electric batteries inside Robbie, explained Mummy, store electricity and supply it to the various parts of the Robbie. Its glowing eyes, the motors that drive its arms and wheels, etc. So now the mother explained about how the electricity connected to the whole parts of the body. Batteries have to be charged from time to time, just as you take food and water, so that Robbie continues to function. When the supply of electricity stops, Robbie stops. So you know if it is we are charging the mobile phone, if it is a charge of the mobile phone off, the same thing Robi also will be charged, then only it can function. So this like explanation given by mother to the friends and Sunni. One day I was playing cricket with Robi. The ball hit in the chest. It lost its balance and fell down. Plonk. So who said? Sunni. He said the past experience about one day they are playing cricket. On the time the Robi fell down. It is the cricket ball. It is hit on his chest. So it in that time it was fell down. So I was scared. I tried to lift it up, but it was very heavy. It fell down again. So in the time he fell, he get very scared. It means he get very feared. So he tried to lift it, but he can't because it is too heavy weight. He is a small boy, no. So that's why. Long. I called Papa. And he came running and pressed some buttons to the back of Robi. Nothing happened. Robi lay still. So in that time Sunni called his father as a papa, and he also tried to make it stand, but he can't. Should not we call a doctor? I asked. So who asked? The boy. Sunni asked. It means he only shared the story, the author, and he asked, we can call the doctor. No, not a doctor, call a robot mechanic. So the father said, it is not cured by the doctor, because it is not a human being, it is a machine, we know. So they want to call the robot mechanic. Papa said, and a few hours later a mechanic came. He took some tools out of the bag. So now who came into their house? The robot mechanic to repair the robot. So now page number 64. Page number 64. He took some tools and out of the bag and approached Robi, who came to their house, the robot mechanic. He picked it up and laid it on the table and unscrewed the plate covering its stomach. So how that he operate the robot, it is solved by Sunni. I was amazed to see inside of the Robi. It was full of red, yellow and black wires. Finely drawn circuits on the boards, the tiny multicolor cylinders and numbered block boxes. It was not much different from the inside of TV. What is it? So he asked a question to the robot mechanic about the wiring and buttons he saw. It is the electronic brain of the robot, said the robot mechanic as he continued to test some points with the meter. So he asked the question about what is it. He said this is a brain of the robot. How the CPU is the brain of the computer, the same thing he said about the brain of robot. And at last the mechanic repaired Robi. He placed a plate over the Robi's stomach and screwed it up. Then he pressed a button. Oh, now the mechanic repaired Robot's problem, and it was he pressed the button again. Robi got up immediately as though nothing had happened. I looked on fascinated. So now who was waked up? The robot was waked up. Do you know which are the most popular robots today? Asked the robot mechanic. So robot mechanic asked the question to the author. He said the domestic robots. What else? He said domestic robots. It means like a Robi, it can do the household work in the home and help the people in the family. Not at all, exclaimed the mechanic. The most popular robots are today are the industrial robot. So what are the famous robots now? He said industrial robot, not the domestic. They are very popular in advanced countries like Japan, United States and Germany. He said about where it was famous and where they are popular. J.F. Engelberger was the first person who thought of creating a robot which could do useful in the factory. He is the father of the industrial robot. So who found the industrial robot? J.F. Engelberger. He is the first to use robot as for the industrial purpose to work. So he is known as the father of it. He must have been a genius, I said. But tell me what robots are likely to do and in coming years. Ask the question by Sunni to the robot mechanic. Now turn page number 65. Page number 65. Yes, everybody is curious to know this, said the mechanic. Robots are likely to come in a big way in our life in the coming century. Apart from helping on farms, watering fields and milking the cows, robots are likely to perform routine medical operations but they will be the mostly beneficially used in the hazard talks which involve the risk to human life. So he explained about in the future things about robot. It is not only used for domestic and industrial purpose. Apart from that, helping farms, watering the plants, milking, because it can do even the operations in the future. It's said by robot mechanic. So the author, he said he was amazed. Of course, at the end he said it may be more beneficially used in all, but of course it can do the hazardous means dangerous things also in the human life. That will be a great service to human being, I said. I never thought robot could be useful to mankind. Yes, that's correct, said the mechanic to begin pack the tools and his meter to the handbag. But mind you, my dear friend, robots can be misused to destroy the mankind too. At last he said it can very useful to the mankind, but we can remember it can do the some dangerous things also, can operate the bird person. How come robotic aircraft or the missile carrying nuclear bombs can destroy the world, for instance? So robots are not a human being, we know. So what function we will give, what command we will give, it can do. So some person may be used for the wrong purpose, like they want to do destroy the world, like nuclear bombs. It can also can do create by the robots in the future. It's said by robot mechanic. But how can robots harm human beings? The Asimov's laws of robots do not permit them to. He said about Asimov's law. Already we see in the previous class. The Isaac Asimov, he written so many things about the robots. It asked by Sunni to the robot mechanic. Provided the laws are implemented, said the mechanic, if your laws are not enforced, what can robots do? The robots are, after all, mechanical slaves. So it said it can. The laws are there, but the commander, if they give the command to in the bad way, it is there just like the slaves. What command we will give, it can do. So it may be happen in future, said by robot mechanic. Yes, true. Very true. Thanks for giving me such a more information. So who said? The boy. He said to the robot mechanic about the usefulness and hazardness about robot. That's true. Very true. Thanks for giving me such information. My pleasure and duty, said the mechanic. He said, this is my pleasure. He picked up his handbag and had papers signed by Papa and left. So now the machine, the robot Robbie was repaired, and of course he knows so many things about robot in this page. Now turn page number 66. Page number 66 at the end of the lesson. As I looked back on the day, Robbie came to me and asked, why are you looking so glum, Sunni? May I do anything? Now the robot was a function like before how it is work. So now it was repaired. It asked a question to what do you want? Why you are look so glum means so sad. No, I'm not glum. I'm thinking about the misuse of robots by bad elements in the world. So he thinking about the what the robot mechanic said about the hazardness about robot. He thought, and he said to the Robbie, well, any invention has its use and misuse. No invention is without its darker side. So is the case with us. But you have to admit that we are the marvelous invention. So it said, so any inventions of science, it can be used or misused, and everything has a dark side. It's explained by the Robbie, and it said we are the marvelous creation used by the people. So it said to the author. Yes, certainly. Yes, you are a marvelous invention. I salute all of you. So now who salute? The boy, the Sunni, he want to salute to the robot, but it said, no, Sunni, no, don't salute me or my community. We are simply gadgets. So it said we are simply gadgets, like electronic device. What you are supply the electricity with the command, we can do. But you must salute our creators, the scientists, engineers and inventors, and who have created us to done so much for mankind. So he not want to salute himself and their community. So he said the Robbie want to salute the human community, like scientists, engineers who invented them. So he want to do the information and who created done so much for the mankind want to salute is said by Robi to Sunni. And some even spend their entire lives on creating has become the possible. I salute them. So who said? The author, the Sunni, he said, yes, I will salute them. I too salute their genius. I wish I could become one and do something along with same lines to the mankind lives for more happily and peacefully. Oh, you mean you want to become the robotic scientist? Now the Robi asked to the author about you want to become the robotic scientist. Yes, that's what I want to become. So what is the ambition of Sunni? He want to become the robot scientist. Yes, that's what I want to become, said by Sunni. I am very happy, Sunni. But when you work in the field of robots, I hope you will discover something which will ensure that we will never be misused for the destruction of mankind. My best wishes, said Robi, and put forward its hand, which I took in both my hands. So now the story ends. Now you want to become the robotic scientist, said by Robi. So it said, so definitely you should become. My best wishes if you become the scientist and you never you can discover something we never misused. This said by Robi to the boy. I'll try my best, said Robi. I said. Who said? The Sunni. So he is author of the lesson. This story is adapted from My Robot Robi by Dilip M. Solvi. Okay. So I hope the lesson over. I hope all you understood the lesson. All of you read again and again and complete the question answer what I given in the PDF. You should copy in your textbook. Okay. And of course, dear students, you know aware of midterm test. So all of you prepare unit 3 ABC full lessons, multiple choice question only we are asking in the exam. Okay. You read and I'll give the some model questions, you revise and prepare well for the exam. Thank you.